Final Fantasy XVI PC runs at 100+ FPS on high-end hardware, says Yoshida. Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida has shared much news at PAX East. To begin with, during the panel held last Friday, we learned a lot about the upcoming Rising Tide DLC, which drops on April 18 for PlayStation 5 and adds a new area, Ally, and the Leviathan Econ. Speaking to Merp.com at the Boston convention, Yoshida-san also gave a preview of the performance of the upcoming PC version of Final Fantasy XVI. As for you having better performance on a PC than PS5, if you have a very high-end PC, you probably will get better graphical fidelity and better performance. But if you have a lower-end PC, you're not going to be able to compete with a PS5. Right now our engineers are working on that optimization and figuring out what the limits are. We've seen some hardware getting that frame rate up over 100 FPS in places, but again, it's going to depend on the hardware that you have. We're doing a lot of testing on that now. But the better the hardware you have, the better you're gonna see. It's one of those types of things again. If you have your ultra-wide monitor and are trying to get 100 frames on an ultra-wide monitor, you might not hit that, but if you have a high-end PC, then yeah, you may be able to. Yoshida added that the PC version of Final Fantasy XVI will include lots of sliders to tweak graphics settings. The system requirements haven't been finalized yet, nor do we know whether there will be any significant additions, like ray tracing effects. That was the case with Final Fantasy XV, which included higher resolution textures, better lighting and shadows, and NVIDIA GameWorks effects like Hairworks, Pixel, Turf effects, and Shadow Libs when it landed on PC. However, the Final Fantasy VII Remake port was extremely bare bones. What's certain is that the PS5 version of Final Fantasy XVI had troubling image fidelity, with resolution dropping to 720p in performance mode, and the game didn't even reach 60 FPS when exploring large areas. Still, Yoshida promised a demo would be released to allow PC users to test the game on their hardware and make sure it runs well enough before committing to a purchase. It may not be long at all before PC gamers can get their hands on Final Fantasy XVI, as Square Enix is finalizing optimization and there won't be a long time between the release date announcement and the actual launch. Stay tuned and read our review of the PS5 version to tide you over.